Today we're going to be doing some little Christmas presents to put on our tree. You could also use these for decorations, but I bought a stack of 4x4 craft foam blocks. Now you could also use, if you have, you could also use some boxes. If you have little boxes, you can use little gift boxes from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to do a couple different ways of kind of making these. These are going to be going on my tree, but you can use them for tons of stuff. So I bought these foam blocks because it makes it a little bit easier for me to show you how this works if I have a perfect square. Now you can do this even if you don't have a perfect square. That's totally okay. We're going to paint some and glitter them, and of course we're going to wrap them in ribbon, and some we're going to cover in fabric. I have some really cute Christmas fabric. I love these. It has little gingerbread on them, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to get the right measurements of what you need to cover this. So this fabric came from Hobby Lobby. And a really easy way to do this is to take your foam block, and you're basically going to draw out a cross. So what you do is you draw out your shape, then you just fold your block over. See, this is why I wanted to do it with a perfectly square one. Just because it's much easier to show you. There we go. Okay. Then we'll take it from the center. Okay, we're going to go this way. Okay, and then we're going to go this way. And this way. There we go. All right, so now you're going to use this to cut out your fabric. All right, so you can see how this is going to work. This just glues up on the sides like this, and they meet right there on the side. It makes it really easy to get the shape that you want. If you're going to glue this on with hot glue, make sure that you are using the low temperature glue, because that is going to be a big difference, because you don't want to cause the styrofoam. I'll put some on so this will dry nice and clear. Okay. Then I can use that little square I made to make sure I have it in the right spot. Okay. There. Smooth it on. Okay. Do this other side here. And I'll smooth it on, so I'll just kind of brush it up and smooth it on. Make sure we get that little corner. There we go. The tack works well because you can still kind of move it around a little. Make sure you get it on the edges so it will glue that. Okay. I generally like to let it glue on these sides. So I give it about 15 minutes and then I come back and I will do the other sides. First, I want to make sure that I've got everything in place where I want it because I have a little bit of time before it's completely done to make sure it is going to give me a nice seam. Okay, there we go. There. If you have a fabric that frays a lot, you can get something to put on the fabric to help with the frays. You can also fold it over. Okay. So I'm going to give this a few minutes to dry and then I'm going to do the other parts. I'm going to go ahead and do, so you can see, these sides are totally dry. That is not coming off. So now I'm going to do this side first. And I did leave the seam allowance on. And I do suggest you cut outside of the box that you drew. And when you're putting it on, make sure you're pushing it and getting it so that the seams are matching up. And pushing out any excess glue. Now I'm going to put something on the corners here, so I'm not too worried about it not being perfect. Okay. Then we'll do this last side. You especially want to get the edges and the top. Okay. There we go. Look how cute that is. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can cut a little bit just beyond it and just kind of fold them in, and so that everything will kind of match up perfectly. I'm not too worried about it on this box because I knew I wanted to outline it. I also want to wrap it. There's so many different things that you can add to these boxes or outline them. You can use colored jute rope. You can use glitter rope. And you can use yarn. One of my favorites is to use the yarn. To use the little velvet ribbon. I love that as well. And so all you do is just glue it along the edges and it covers it up really well. So for this you can use your hot glue. I'm going to put the pink yarn on the edges. I really want to wrap it with this pretty blue. Also do the edges in this cording. So the cording is very thin and that works really well for edges. You can also get some really pretty bling rope. Love this. But what I really want to do is the yarn. So I just run a bead around this edge here. Okay. And put my yarn right there. I'm just going to trim it off and put these pieces together like that. Okay, and then I'm going to do the other side. And we got the box outlined. So now I want to figure out what I want to be the top let's see, I think this right here is going to be the top. I want to make a little bow to go on top. So I'm just going to make a little bow. And what I'll do for this is take one of my clear rubber bands. I'm going to put it around my little yarn bow, like that. Okay. Get my bow stretched out. There we go. Okay. First, I'm going to put a hole with my awl. Okay, just like that, so I can put my hanger in there. We're going to use the fishing / jewelry line. So this can either be used for fishing line or it can be used for beading crafts. Okay. I'm going to take our glue gun, put a little glue inside that hole. Okay. Then we're just going to fold this over, fold it over again, put it right inside that hole. Okay, right down in that hole. Put a tiny little piece of glue right there. Okay, then we're going to take our little bow, put a little glue on that. It's going to go right there. Okay, I want to go right around where that little hanger is. Then we're going to take some cute little peppermints. We're going to kind of put a few little peppermints around the top. Okay. Okay. This is our first little box for our tree. So the next one is going to be covered in glitter and ribbon. All right, so for this next one, I want to do some paint and glitter. All right, so to paint this, I'm going to take some pink acrylic paint, light pink, and some Mod Podge, about equal parts. I'm going to take a sponge brush, mix those together. So whenever I'm painting styrofoam, I always add the Mod Podge because it's really going to help get that to seal nicely. Okay, then I'm going to put a skewer in it. And I'm going to start on the bottom because I find it's easier to go ahead and start on the bottom. But this is polystyrene, so it's nice and smooth. So it's very easy to paint. I reuse both my skewers and my little sponge brushes here. You can also use house paint to do these. You can get acrylic house paint at any hardware store, and it does work just the same, especially if you add the Mod Podge to it. Okay, it can be a little bit less expensive too if you're going to be doing big projects. For me, this works out because I have a limited space in my craft room, so. I find that putting the Styrofoam on a stick really helps me to get it painted because it's easier. I don't get the paint on myself, which normally I would if I'm trying to paint it without a stick. I'm going to get it on me. I would have more on me than on my projects, so this helps me a lot. You want to put a pretty good coat. Now, if I'm not going to do glitter, I'm probably going to do 2 coats. If I'm going to do glitter, I'm usually only going to do 1 coat because the glitter will help cover a lot. Okay. It depends on what kind of glitter. If I'm going to use ultrafine glitter in the color that I'm applying, such as this pink, then I'm only going to use 1 coat. So I'm going to use this pretty pink here. Start on the bottom and glitter it up. Okay. Just tap to get the excess off. I'm not too worried about how much I'm adding because I can get it back in the container because I'm doing it over this paper plate. I reuse this paper plate over and over and over. I don't replace them very often because it's easy to get the glitter off. Okay. Just tap. This is my favorite kind to do, the glitter, because I just think it's so pretty. I love glitter. I would probably wear glitter if I could get away with it. And if you use precautions, you can keep it from getting everywhere, such as doing it over a plate and on your table with some paper on it. And a little bit of glitter just makes you sparkly, and we like that. Okay, I'll do the top last. Okay. There we go. See how pretty that is? All right, so we're going to let this dry, and you'll see this is super easy to get back into my container. I love using these paper plates. Super inexpensive. I get these at Aldi's, and they're so inexpensive. And then I can tap to get it to go to the center. Get all of it down. See, and then I can reuse that plate. And I've saved my glitter. So I waste very little. Okay, so I'm going to do that in several different colors with the glitter. Let's do one in yellow. I want to show you the one in yellow because I like to do a different type of glitter, and it is so pretty. I absolutely love my little very fine glitters, my ultra fine glitters, but sometimes I like to use this chunkier glitter. So for yellow, yellow can be a difficult color to get a glitter for, and I found that this glitter is awesome. This is from Hobby Lobby. I'm just going to use a yellow. This is just a light yellow. This is the super inexpensive Craft Smart from Michaels. With our Mod Podge, I get Mod Podge in a giant container and then I put it in these squirt bottles. It works amazing. Okay, so we'll mix it up. I use the glossy Mod Podge, especially if I'm going to be doing something with glitter, because I really want it to have that shine. And I always start on the bottom. I find it a lot easier if I am doing a project that I start on the bottom. You can also wash this off and reuse it. Right. So you can see this is much chunkier. And it can be hard to find yellow glitter that actually looks yellow. So I super like this one. You can see I am not shy with the glitter because I want to make sure I get all of the areas that I want. And I know my plate's catching it. Okay. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that pretty? So if I see little areas, I'll go ahead and grab those. Sometimes the corners. Okay, and I'm going to let that dry. Okay, so this little present has dried. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to seal it so that the glitter won't come off. What I like to use is Mod Podge with a little water. And I like to use these little fingertip sprayers from Walmart. And you want to make sure you're shaking it up well so it doesn't get clogged. And you're just going to mist it. Like this. I find this works super well. It's a lot faster and you don't have to take it outside because it's not toxic. Okay, this is going to seal it nicely. Now I use glossy so it won't dull any of the glitter. I kind of go back and forth so I can see where I'm going. Then I'm going to let this dry for a while. And then I'm going to do the other one. And when I come back, we'll start decorating it. So the boxes have dried and been sealed. So now we're going to decorate them to put on our tree. Okay, so these all look good. And so we're going to go through several different methods of how you can make these look to put on your tree or your decorations around your house or on your wreath or wherever you want to put them. So you can see we have fine glitter, we have chunky glitter. So you'll kind of get to see what the different ones look like. So one of the first options we have is just to add ribbon on it. And what I wanted you to see is ribbon doesn't necessarily have to be ribbon, right? So these are foam sheets that I just cut an inch piece off of. So I have pink and I have the blue. I think I want to use the pink. And so what I can do is just cover it just like I would with regular ribbon. Okay, so this is probably traditionally more what you're going to see if you went and bought these from like Hobby Lobby. You would see this kind of thing with the foam sheets. And so what you do is you're just going to, and I think what we'll do is we're going to glue it up here. So we know we're going to put our hanger in there. So I can just run a little glue down. Put it right there. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little glue kind of as I go down. If I think it's off center, I'll just kind of correct it. Okay. I I'm going to kind of stretch it a little bit. This is flexible foam. You can get this in adhesive if you'd rather work with the adhesive instead of having to deal with the glue. I will say that the adhesive kind is a little bit more pricey, but it can kind of save you time. All right, so I'm just gonna cut it off where it meets the other one. It's right in there. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, just like that. So we have half of it done, you can see. And so for the other half, okay, so we're going to do the exact same thing going in the other direction. So I'm having them meet all up here at the top. And what we'll do is we'll put a little bow on here. And the reason I'm putting the pieces that need to be, that are kind of meeting each other, is because it's going to make it easier for me to get the hanger in there. So it'll be easier for me just to kind of move it aside and get my hanger in there. So this one is going to be one of the easiest, just because you're just cutting up a foam sheet and kind of gluing it on. If you want this to sit on a table or something like that, what you can do is just cut these two pieces off so they're not overlapping and giving that little bit of wobbly. But this is going to be going on a tree, so it doesn't really matter to me if it's wobbly, because you're not going to see that. So now I just meet it up here, and then I'll just trim it off where it meets that piece. Okay, just like that. Okay, so you can see it's kind of like a little square right there, a little cross in the center. Okay, and having it this way is going to allow me to kind of, there's my little hole, so I'm just going to kind of put a little hole in the little piece right there, a little piece of foam. It's a lot easier to go through one tiny little piece of foam than it is to go through 4. So that's why I put that on the top. Okay, and I'll cut my little fishing wire, right? So about 10-inch piece or more. I'll fold it over like this, and then again like this, so that I end up with a doubled up point. Then I'll put my glue down in that little hole that we have. And I'm putting this on before I put the bow on. Okay. So I just push it down in there as far as I can get it. What I really like is to get it as far down so that you can't see where that other piece is. Okay, like that. So now what I can do is I can put my bow right inside here, and then you're not going to see where I even put the hanger. Now for the bow, you can use something else, or you can use this. Just kind of cut it in half. All right, so about a 1/2-inch piece. All right, and then let's do maybe like a loop like this. Let's see, a little piece I need to fix. Okay, so all you're doing is folding it inside like this. Put a little bit of glue here, right there, and then match that up. Hold that together for a second. Okay, we'll do the same thing on this one. So I'll put a little bit of glue here. So like I said, this is going to be the easiest one, just as far as level of how easy or difficult these are to do. And then you're just going to press them together like this. Put a little bit of glue on the inside there. Press it down. If I have any little pieces that stick out, I'll just trim them off. Sometimes you will. Okay, just like that. I'll just hold it for a second. Make sure the glue gets going. Okay, and then the same thing on this one. So right here in the middle. So right there. Then just press that down. Then you see if I have some kind of sticking out on the edge, I'll just take my scissors and just trim that off. See, and then it looks even on both sides. And all you have to do is cross them over like this. Put another little thing of glue right there. Okay. Oh, let me fix that little piece. Okay. There we go. You have your little bow. Okay, and then we're going to put some glue in here. And I want to put it like in between my wire hanger here. So almost like a little cross part. And I'll just let that hold for a minute. If you have a lot of things to do, one thing you can do is you can put a little pin in here and hold it while it is drying, but you can see how cute that is. So that was foam, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a little cute something right on top there, just to give it a little bit more personality. All right, so we have lots of fun options here. Okay, so these are just little fake candies, and they're super fun. All of them are super fun. Let's see. We have, ooh, this is cute. We have like a little candy piece, and we could just put it right in the middle. All right, just hold it down. Make sure that glues. All right, and then, oh my gosh, how cute is that? Okay, so this is going to be the simplest one of the ones we're going to do, but how stinky cute is that? So with this one, you can see I got a little bit of paint on the edges. Doesn't matter because we're actually going to be doing something to cover part of this one. And we're going to do our second part with foam as well. So I got this glitter paper here from Hobby Lobby. And the reason I like this one is because it is paper thin. So if you're going to do something like this with the glitter, it helps a lot if it is this like really paper thin. It is actually so thin that you have to be super careful taking out the staple. It will tear the sheet, so be super careful. All right, so what I'm going to do is take my little box. I'm going to put it right here on the edge. And I'm just going to lightly draw here and here. This is a square, which means all of the sides are going to be exactly the same. And I wanted to do it that way just because I thought it might be a little bit easier just to show you if it was on a square. Okay. The trick to cutting foam, or felt for that matter, is to lift up your scissors as few times as possible. The reason being that every time you lift it up to do a cut, there's a chance you're going to get off center. So when you're cutting foam, what you want to do is you want to hold your scissors straight and move your paper. So if you were doing corners, you would be moving the paper like this and holding your scissors straight. Bring your scissors up and start it way back here at the back so that you get one consistent cut. Okay. So you can see this fits well on top. I do have a tiny little bit of overhang. Okay, and I'm going to fix that now. Okay. I'm just going to kind of cut right where I need to fix it. All right. Because you are measuring on the outside, you can get just a little bit. Okay. Do you see how nice those edges are? It's because of the way we cut it. And I will tell you that I learned that the hard way. So if you have been doing it that way, don't feel bad. A lot of us get there. Okay. So lightly draw. Lightly draw. Okay. And then again. All right, so I'm going to cut this all the way across. See how I go all the way to the end of the scissors, and then I open it back up and I go all the way to the back. That does make a huge difference, because every time you have to open your scissors back up, there's a really good chance you're going to get a little point on it. Okay. There we go. Alrighty. Now, the way this is going to work. Okay. So you only need to cut 2 because we're only going to use half of this. So what I'm going to do is fold it in half and kind of crease it so I can see where the halfway mark is. And again, and make sure these are the right size first. Okay. Alrighty. This was the right size, was it not? This one has just a tiny bit of overhang, so let's just fix that real quick. There we go. Okay, so fold it in half. You can do this part by hand, but I'm going to tell you I'm going to use my scissors. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I don't have to worry about it coming out correct, because it's going to come out correct. I have these awesome scissors, and so they have these little swirly lines in them. So this one here, if you kind of look at the outside, you can tell what pattern it uses. So what I usually do is I'll take a blank piece of paper and I'll just cut so I can get an idea of what the lines look like, so I can pick which one I want to use. There we go. All right, so this one has less of a line and this one more. So I want to use the one that has the less. Okay, so that's this one. And so what I'm going to do is right where it goes down, I'm going to cut down that line. Okay, and then if I have any little places, I'll just kind of fix them. But you see how cute that is? Alrighty. And we have 2 sides of it. So what we'll do is we'll be putting them on here, right? So one here, one here. And so you can see how they're going to line up. Okay. All right. So it may not be perfect, but you can trim the top. I wouldn't trim where this is because these actually should be pretty close. So just put your pieces together and see if there's any overlap. I think we're pretty close. Okay, so those two are fine. All right, let's try it with these. Yeah, this one definitely has a little bit, so I'll just kind of trim this at the back. Okay. Now, the reason I like to use these is they are already glittered. They're easy. We just glue them on. Okay. So I'm just going to take, oops, and get some glue on this side. Okay. Just like this. All right, turn it over. Line it up. Okay, and then press it down. So this is going to kind of look like icing. But what I like about this is it comes out very crisp and clean. It looks great. It's going to sit well. And the reason is because this is that very thin foam. So I want to make sure I match it up with the one that works with it, which is this one. Okay, and then I'll get some glue on this side. I want to be careful not to get too much down towards the bottom or the top because it will press down into those areas and I don't really want it to come out. So as I'm pressing down, it's going to go into those areas. Okay. On the side, I'm just going to kind of press it together. Okay, like that. All right. I'm just kind of making sure that these look like they match up before I put it down. There we go. Okay. All right. There we go. Match those up. All right, again. This one looks good as well. This one. Okay. Okay, there we go. I'll just kind of push the edges together, press it down. Look how stinking cute that is. Okay, so then we have our piece for the top. Okay. So I want to kind of match it up before I do any trimming. Okay. There we go. All right. It can help a little bit to do the last piece, the top piece, at the end so that you can make sure you have a little bit of an overlap just to reach these sides here. Okay. Press it down. Kind of scoot it in place. There we go. It is normal to have a tiny bit of a gap, but I'm going to show you how to fix that. Well, there's a couple ways you can fix it. One way is you can do a little bit of an overlap, okay, and then just kind of press it down, okay, like that. The other way, well, actually there's like 3 ways. Okay, one way is yarn. You can take yarn, okay, and then just line the edges. You can go all the way around, go down the sides. All right, so you can see what that looks like. It's super cute. All right, so we have overlap, and then we have yarn, and then we have puffy paint. All right, so this is puffy paint. Let's see which one of these is open. This one, okay. So you can take some puffy paint of the same color and then just put a little bead right along where the edge is, and then just kind of wipe it with your finger, or you can use a little tool. So sometimes I like to use tools with this, and sometimes I'll just use my hands. So if there's any little pieces, I'll show you the tools. So tools that you would use like to weed with your Cricut, those are the kind of tools you use. Anything with a point, and I just use that to kind of put it in place. Okay, so you can see that. It's almost like a little bit of sparkly glue or puffy glue, because once you get it in place and it dries, it will keep everything together and kind of cover up those seams. You can also get glitter glue. So glitter glue works as well, right? So it's just kind of like what it sounds like. You could put a little bit of the glitter glue down. I think this one has a, no it doesn't, okay. So glitter glue comes in many colors as well. This works really especially great if you're going to do an overlap. Okay, just like that. Okay, all right. So lots of different ways to cover up any of the edges that you don't like. All right, and then the last few, which you can use in tandem with any of these others, is we're gonna sprinkle it. All right, so, all right, oh, and while we're at it, let's go ahead and find our hole placement and put our hanger on. So just like the last one, we're gonna fold it just the same way. Ooh, I cut that one really long. Just gonna trim that off a little. Okay. Okay. Okay, so put our glue down in there. And then put our hanger in. I think I might want to do maybe some larger ones. I'm going to get some of the Mod Podge spray that I use to seal things. Okay, and I'm going to spray it on. Okay, and then sprinkle these on. Now these are pretty large, so I'm not worrying about doing them over a plate because I'll be able to pick them up. And I can take pieces and glue them to the sides. I can use the glitter glue, I can use Mod Podge, any of those work. But you can see how cute it is to put the little sprinkles on. So I'll wait for the top to dry and then do the sides. I'm going to do it the same way. You don't have to use the spray. You can just use the kind that you just brush on. So that's this one. Oh, that's so cute. Another one with ribbon, but we're going to use regular ribbon. So I have velvet ribbon and I have glittered ribbon. So you can use either one that you want or any. You can use cross grain ribbon on this as well. So it doesn't have to be wired for this kind of project. Oh, let's do these two. Okay. So this is not wired. Okay. Which for a project like this is totally fine. So just like we did before, we will start it here. I'm just eyeballing it. If you want to be precise, you can measure it. But I just kind of tend to eyeball it. So before we put the bow on, let's get our little hanger in there. All right, so now we can do our little bow. Another thing you can do when you're making tiny bows is to use little clear hair bands, elastic hair bands. Okay, so if we just see how large we want it. That's pretty good. Okay, let's see how large this is. Okay. This is about 10 inches. Okay. I still want to kind of do a little glue just to do for this overlap here. Go. All right, let's do this one. Okay. All right. Okay. There. I'm putting the tiniest of dabs for glue so it won't shine through. Okay. And you can take your rubber band, just to give you different options of how to do it. Remember, you want to glue it inside that little area there. So get your glue in there. Just press it down. Then we'll pick out something cute to put on top. You can also do a number of these combinations together. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Okay. You can also put a middle loop in there for your bow. You would just do a smaller version of that and glue it on the bottom. Oh, that's super cute. Little snowman do-jobber. He's adorable. Okay, this right there in the middle. Okay. Oh, that's so cute. Okay. All right, let's do the next method. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to go ahead and put the hanger in. So I'm putting these on like this because these are going to hang in a tree. If you were going to set it on your table, you don't have to have that. And if you were going to put it in a wreath, you can use the skewers Those work really well to add things into a wreath. For this one, I want to do kind of a hand-done icing, kind of like we did with the foam paper. But this time, we're just going to use the slick, and we're going to do it ourselves. So what I'll do is just kind of freehand. And when you're working with this, make sure you're kind of hitting it to make sure that the glue is ready to come out. I mean the paint. All right, and I'm just going to swoop like that. Okay. And then again. It's okay if it's not perfect. It doesn't need to be perfect. Drips wouldn't be perfect. Whoops, let's get that off though. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to set that upside down for a few minutes because I want to let it drip, but I don't want it to come in the direction that I just made these. All right, I want it to drip down this way. This kind of paint will tend to drip, so that's why I'm telling you this, because it can get really frustrating after you've made something and it looks really cute, and then it starts to, gravity starts to hit it and it starts to go in places. All right, so for this one, I want to just add more sprinkles onto it. A foam brush. I was going to put it right here on my little paper. Okay. Now, I'm going to kind of pounce on it like this. So this little design we did here, you can do the same thing with Mod Podge and a brush, and then just do the sprinkles. So that looks really cute as well. It doesn't have to be the paint. It can just be the glue. Because Mod Podge is a glue and a sealer. I love this yellow. I'm not even a big yellow fan, but I really like the yellow. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. So I can take this and I can kind of go like this, just like that, and then kind of glue inside that little area I just made. And so what's going to happen is the sprinkles are only going to stick to where I have glue, okay? And this will dry clear, so it's going to be clear when it dries. Okay. There we go. Remember, you don't have to have perfection for these things. They're going to look cute. There. I am not a painter and I could not freehand things, but I can add a little glue and I can add a little of the paint stuff because it doesn't need to be perfect, because when things are dripping down, they're not going to be perfect. So effects like this are easy to do. For other things, I'll use stencils, because then you don't have to have a great talent for doing things. You know, you use the stencils and those do it for you. Okay, all right, now we got our glue on. Okay, so now we can put our sprinkles on. I have these really cute little tiny foam balls. These are one of my favorite things, these little foam balls. I love using these. This one's in pastel colors because the theme, of course, of this Christmas tree is the candy theme. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to get the lid off without really jostling it around because I don't want them to to go everywhere. All right, so what we can do is just dip it in there. Okay, this works so well. Now, on the top, I'll just kind of sprinkle some on. I think this is going to be my favorite. Okay. Look how stinking cute. Now, this Mod Podge is going to dry clear, and then when it dries, we're going to come back and spray over it. So I'm just going to seal it just like I did when I sealed the Christmas presents to begin with. So that's how I'll keep all of these little items on it. All right, so once everything dries, I'll come back and show you the final result, how to finish this. Okay, so I've kind of let it drip for a few minutes. And so I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to start adding in some in these areas here. Okay, and then I'm going to use my little tool and I'm just going to kind of push it in. So this is self-leveling, so it will even out. I just want to kind of get it in the areas that I want it. You could also use a paintbrush. This is very highly textured, so I find that it works really well if you do it this way. Okay. So all I'm going to do is fill in the sides here and the top. Okay. I'm going to show you one side so I can show you what I'm going to do. Okay. All right, so I'll do this on each one. I can also kind of just pat it down a little bit to get it to kind of go in a downward direction. Okay. There we go. All right, then I'm going to take, let's do this one, some sprinkles. Let's get our little plate here. And we're going to put some sprinkles on it. So I'll do this to each side. Now when you're doing one like this, the best thing to do is to kind of do one side at a time so that you don't mess up another side. And then I will do the top, and I'm just going to do the top exactly the same way. So I just fill in all the little gaps and put some sprinkles on it. So I'm setting this aside to dry, but I wanted you to see how cute it came out. So I'm going to let that dry. And I was looking at this one, and it is so cute. But I was thinking it would be really cute if I did some pink around the sides. So I wanted to show it to you before I did anything, because if you want to just do the foam, just so you can see what it looks like. So one thing I love is that you can mix different methods together. And I was thinking it would look really cute if I did some little pink down the sides, cotton candy. So what I'm going to do is go along where these meet and run a little bead of the puffy paint there. There. Just like it's icing. Okay. Now you could also do this with yarn. There we go. Oh, that's cute. So it has a little outline of pink. You could even do drips down the side if you wanted to. That would be super cute as well. Just to kind of give you an idea of something else you can do. So I'm going to let this dry and then we'll come back. I don't know if I'm going to put little sprinkles of any kind on the sides or not, but we'll be back. Just kind of want to show you one last time. So we have our glitter with our ribbon. So this is the velvet ribbon. That is so cute. Okay, we have our glittered one with the chunky glitter and the little foam balls. Look how cute that is. See how cute that is? Okay. We have another glittered one with the foam sheets. Our fabric covered one. That one turned out so cute. Then we have our dripping icing one with all the little sprinkles on it. That came out super cute. And the one where we lined it with the pink and put the glitter on top. Now this one is the one with the foam sheets. So I hope you enjoyed that. These are so fun and easy to make. If you wanted to put it in a wreath, you would put like a skewer or something like that on the bottom. If you just wanted to set it out at your house, don't put the hanger at the top. You can stack these on top of each other. You can add all kinds of little things. You could even do the little squirrel candies on top. There's just so many things you can do with these. If you don't have the styrofoam, these are perfect 4x4s. You can actually get some from the Dollar Tree. So these are 2.9 by 3.9. You could even put two together to do what we did. But if you have trouble finding it, you can also use foam board kind of glued together. And, you know, you just cover it in the foam sheets. You can, of course, glitter on top of that. But I hope you enjoyed this. These are going to look really cute in our tree. And I will be doing something with the Dollar Tree blocks to make little presents as well. So be watching for that. And I hope you have an awesome day. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to know when we're going to be going live and when we're going to have new content up. Okay, y'all have a great day. Bye, y'all.